Hello, friends. This is Gypsy Spirit here with you, ready to give you today's tarot reading. And today I drew the Lover's card, and it is in reverse. So honestly, I don't know. I don't do love readings. You know, anything that pisses me off more is when somebody calls me up, and I had this happen a few days ago, and but when somebody, when you're doing a reading, the reading is about you, not about somebody else. And it is highly unethical for a reader to tap into somebody else's energy without their permission. Although I know that there's a lot of readers that do that, but it's very invasive, and you wouldn't want somebody reading you without your permission, right? But I get very agitated when people call me, and it's women, it's always women, and they want to know about a guy that they dated 2 or 3 years ago, or somebody that they, broke up maybe, several weeks ago or whatever, and they want to know if that guy is thinking about them, and if he is thinking about her, what is he thinking? And is he with somebody else? And what is he doing? And when are they going to get back together? Are they going to get... You know what? Those things are not important. They really aren't. The reading is always about you. And so that's why I refrain from doing those kind of love readings. But with the Lovers in reverse, I looked at it, and so in today's tarot reading, I think for many of us, we go through with our partners, our lovers, whether it be in marriages or ongoing romantic relationship, we go through periods of feeling disconnected or having a disconnection. It could be like maybe you're taking a little break, or you just feel disconnected. And when you get that feeling, it's really time. What this card means is when it's in reverse like this, this is advising you to take some time out and reevaluate this relationship. Look at and see what changes need to be made in this relationship. And a lot of times, I had a friend of mine tell me a long time ago, she said, relationships are not always designed for us to be in with that person forever. A lot of times relationships are designed for us to learn and to grow, evolve. And a lot of times we may outgrow the person that we've been with for a long time. And if they're not on board with where we're going, then maybe you might have to think about dissolving the relationship and moving on. Because all that means, when it gets to that point, it means that there's something that you needed to learn and grow from in the relationship to prepare you for the next relationship, because that may be the forever relationship. Who knows? But it doesn't mean that you have to end on really bad terms. Although in many cases we do. And, it could be that, and if it does, it could be that those strings or those attachments that cord needed to be cut permanently. And that's okay. The last relationship that I was in for 2.5 years with this person. And he did a lot of not good stuff. And I kept hearing my higher divine, I kept hearing that little voice telling me I kept seeing a lot of red flags. That's the word. So if you're seeing a lot of red flags with somebody, you definitely need to run. I always say, if you see red flags and you don't walk away from them, then there's going to be a high price to pay later in the end. And in this case, with this particular guy, it was a very high price for me to pay. In the end, I went into a very dark place because I didn't let the relationship end. When there was a time of disconnection, we did have a time of disconnection, and I went back to it. He even told me that he felt disconnected from our relationship, and I we both worked at bringing that connection back together when we really shouldn't have. Um, so you don't have to try to make it work. You have to just go with the flow. And if you're not feeling that you need to be in the relationship or something's not right, even though you want to, because maybe you're afraid to be on your own, or maybe you don't want to have to go through the hassle of trying to find somebody new, because I mean that takes work, getting back out there in the dating scene. Then if that's the case and you keep going back to this person, then yes, you're going to pay a price. I have a family member. She's in her 70s, but the man that she's been married to, they should have gotten divorced within a year or two after they were married. But and a lot of very unhealthy things happened, and that has happened just previously. Even all the years they've been married, a lot of very negative and unhealthy things have happened. And to the point where she actually tried to kill him and went to jail, was put on probation. And so you don't want to do that. She never allowed herself to grow. And in talking to her now, she's way out there. She is way out on left field. And you don't want to do that in a relationship. You want to be with somebody that you're meant to be with. You're on the same page with. But sometimes we have to let go of thoughts and behaviors. And it takes to be in a relationship with somebody that may not be the person we're supposed to be with. It takes that relationship to help us to get to that point. Do you understand what I'm saying? I hope you do. I was married for 13 years, and I could sit and tell you, it would take me 2-3 weeks to tell you everything that man and that marriage did to mess up our marriage. And I remember one time, it was after we were separated, and I remember meditating, and I was just asking universe to show, I was complaining about this guy, and at the same time I was asking universe to help me make necessary changes in my life. And I remember hearing universe say, stop talking or thinking about all the things that your ex-husband did to mess up the marriage, because it does take two to tango. And universe said, don't worry about him. I'll take care of him. You need to worry about yourself and think about what it is that you want to change about yourself, or that you need to change about yourself so that you can move on. And that's what I'm going to tell you as well. If you're in a relationship and you're not happy with it, and you feel that this person has wronged you, so forth and so on, okay, you can get out of the relationship, or you can take a little break, but it's got to be about you. You stepping into your empowerment. When you're thinking about all the things that this person has done and how they've wronged you, you're still giving them your power. And you don't want to do that. You want to step into your own power. Be responsible. Take responsibility for whatever it is that you need to change. Because it's when you decide to make those changes, your energy shifts. And then you start attracting the right kind of person. If you don't make the changes, and whether you stay with this person or you break up with them, you're going to have to experience this situation over and over again. You ever notice that, all the different people that you've dated, and you break up with them, and then you date somebody else, it always seems to be the same problem. That's when you have to say, what is it that I need to change about myself, about me? What is it that, what energy, behaviors, thoughts, whatever, what is it that I need to let go of so that I can embrace something new that will bring me to the right person, or bring the right person to me? So when somebody asks me for a love reading, I let them know we're not going to talk about the person that you've been with or that you've been seeing. We're going to talk about you and what it is that you want in a relationship, and what it is that helping you find the answers that you need to help you get into the right relationship. So don't be calling me asking me about, what the ex-boyfriend is thinking about. Let me tell you what I tell people. When I get somebody that calls me up and wants to know about a guy they saw years ago, and or even, a few months ago, and I'll give you a good example. The girl that called me the other day told me that back in November, her boyfriend had told her that he wanted them to move in together. And she had the apartment, and he wanted them to live together. And here it is, almost the end of January, and she had not spoken to him for 2 weeks. And she wanted to know where she stood. You don't need a psychic. You don't need a tarot reader. You don't need anybody like me to tell you what the deal is. But I looked at the cards, and the last card she had, it was very interesting. Her last card was the Hierophant card in reverse, meaning that she's not looking at the signs and messages that the universe is giving to her. Honey, if you have somebody that is telling you that they want to move in with you, they're so in love with you, they're going to move in with you, and this is November, and you're almost at the end of January, and they stopped talking to you for 2 weeks, they've moved on. They're not coming around to you. Because I don't care what anybody says. Listen, ladies, listen real good. If a man wants to be with you, I don't care if you're living on the fucking North Pole, wherever you're at. If a man really loves you and really, really wants to be with you, he will find a way to be with you. So you don't need to chase him. You don't need to call him. Nothing. If he's really in love with you, he will find his way to you. And that's what I tell everybody. So these women who call me up wanting to know if so-and-so that they dated 3 years ago, if he's thinking about her, what is it that he's thinking? And are they ever going to get back together? I always tell them, no, you don't. Why are you wasting your money on me? It doesn't take a mad rocket scientist to figure that out. If you haven't heard from the guy in so many months or years, whatever, you're not going to. And then why would you want, even if he did reconnect with you, you can't go back. People, if you hear from a guy who's been married, that you dated a long time ago, and he was married, y'all broke up, he got married, or he lived with somebody, or he had a real serious relationship, and they've broken up, and now he's telling you that, oh, he wants to get back with you. That is fucking bullshit, okay? He is looking for a rebound. He doesn't want to be alone, so he figures he'll go back to you. Don't take that shit. Don't do that to yourself. I hear this all the time. And, you got to step into your own empowerment. You got to set boundaries, and you got to stay true to yourself. And I tell every couple that I counsel that it takes two. And for a relationship to really work out, and this applies also for friendships as well, any kind of relationship, but a lot in romantic lovers relationships. You got to have self-love, self-respect, and integrity. And both parties must bring that to the table. And if any of those components are missing, the relationship's not going to work out. You know, you can sugarcoat it all you want. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you, but you can sugarcoat it and believe what you want to believe and, ignore the red flags. But I can assure you it will come back to you. If you make compromises that you're not comfortable with, oh, it'll come back with you. I'll give you a good example of that. The aunt, or the family member, she is my aunt. The one that I told you that she's been married to this man for a very long time. I remember many years ago, I want to say this was back in the 80s, and he wanted to get, they were living in California, Orange County. We used to all live there. And he wanted to start swinging. I think they had swung before, like in the 60s. And then, they started having children and stuff, and she didn't do that. And she didn't want to. She didn't want to deal with the swinging thing, but to make him happy, she went along with it. Okay? So they go to LA to one of the swinging bars and everything, and they're on the dance floor, and they're dancing away, having a good time. And she notices that he has got his hand on another woman's crotch. And she said she just stopped dancing and crossed her arms and said, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" And he said, I'm just touching that. I'm just holding that woman's pussy." And she walked off the dance floor. To begin with, she shouldn't have agreed to do this thing. Because what do you expect? If you're going to go to a swingers bar, that's what they do. That's what happens. But she shouldn't have made that compromise because she wasn't comfortable. I dealt with a woman who I did a reading for, and she was telling me about her boyfriend, and she said that he likes for her to have sex with other men and videotape it, and he likes to watch the video. I was like, whoa, hold up, sister. Let's talk about this for a minute. I said, "How do you feel about that?" She said, "Oh, I love it. I love doing that." It's like, okay, fine. If it's something that you're comfortable with and you're not having to make a compromise, you want to do it, then by all means, knock yourself out. But if it's something, if your lover or even a friend or whatever is trying to coerce you into doing something that you are not comfortable with, that you really don't want to do, honey, and you do it, you're handing your power over. You're not stepping into your power and into your truth, and you're not setting boundaries. Guess what? That creates a lot of resentment, low self-esteem, just, a lot of shit going on in your head. So don't do that. You can't do that. And if they really want you, love you, and respect you, and you stand up to them and set those boundaries, they will respect that. And if not, then, and you go along with it, the relationship's not going to work out. So anyway, I know I've talked for almost 20 minutes, but this is a subject that's real serious to me. And why is it real serious to me? Because guess what? I could write the book on this. I've been through so many relationships where that has happened, where I made compromise after compromise because I wanted to have a validated love. I felt like I needed to be in a relationship for self-validation. No, your self-validation comes from you, not from somebody else. So, and needless to say, like now I'm not in a relationship and haven't been in one for quite some time. And the reason for that, it's not that I can't be in a relationship. I could if I wanted to be, but I don't want to be with the wrong person. I don't want to have to, I'm 61 years old. I don't want to have to go through dealing with the red flags. When I meet somebody and I'm not dealing with red flags and it's all good, then wonderful. And I just have to trust that the universe will take care of that. But I hope this helps. You know what? If you want a tarot reading, you can get that. If you want some help in this this situation, on how to learn how to step into your own empowerment, get a tarot reading with me. All you got to do is go to the box below and it'll give you my website, and we'll go from there. But I hope you got something out of this, and I will see you again soon. I'll see you tomorrow. But have a great, great day, and be careful out there. All right? Bye-bye.